Hi everyone. We're here at the first video blog for Money in Mandarin. We are currently with Ms. Zarah Ching. She's a business development manager at an international company specializing in hospitality. So our conversation today would be about um, travel, hospitality in the Philippines, and opportunities for bilinguals. Ms. Zara graduated from Hope Christian High School and also took her college degree with De La Salle University College of St. Benilde. She also had some experience with Nihongo Center Foundation and is currently studying for a certificate course for hotel and sales marketing at the Canadian Tourism and Hospitality Institute. So let's get right into it. So hello, Zara.
Hi, Anne. Good
Hi,
morning.
nice to have you here. Good morning.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's my
as
pleasure.
yeah, thanks. You're the first guest for Money in Mandarin here, so let's get right into it. And of course, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're our topic right now is for travel and tourism, since it is really a hot topic in the Philippines right now with the BOT campaign of having of it's more fun in the Philippines. So I guess one of the main drives here is to um, attract more tourists in the country, and also since we are number one in BPO in the whole world, maybe it's another aspect that we could look into, where we could take advantage of bilingualism to service others from other countries. How did your Mandarin skill, your proficiency help you in your career compared to some, maybe if you didn't have it, how would you compare it to?
I guess for starters, it's all a learning experience because when I started in this company, we didn't have any person dealing with the Chinese market or any bilingual person on board.
Okay.
So I had to start on scratch well, I had to start from scratch, and then I have to incorporate also some marketing skills in order to see if our approach will be appropriate
Okay.
for the Chinese hotels,
Mm-hmm.
and also it will be beneficial if we do this and do that. It's all a trial and error process.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm not sure if you're if you're comfortable in saying, but in terms of the market, how would you say would the compensation be for a bilingual compared to like someone who isn't? Like, would there be a
Only an
significant?
English.
Yeah, only maybe general estimate, like how much more, because I think it's one of the more attractive packages right now. Having if you could speak two languages, especially right now in Mandarin, like do you get extra allowance for being able to speak?
Yeah. So actually, in all BPO companies, I think they would give you a language allowance on
Mm-hmm.
top of your basic salary. So
Okay.
that would range depending on your level. So let's say if you're on a more senior position,
Mm-hmm.
you would probably get around 60,000 or more, like 80,000. And then for beginners, or let's say for new graduates,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps around 40,000 would be the good start.
I see. Is this is the total of your basic and your allowance?
Yes, the total,
I see.
the all-in-all package.
I see. Just to clarify, BPO is business process outsourcing, which is um, quite the. I think it's one of the hottest industries right now in the Philippines. Could you give us an idea, like if once you're qualified to be um, bilingual, um, what are the tasks that you usually do? Because I think not a lot of people have an idea what kind of jobs a bilingual has to do in a company, other than conversing.
Okay. As a bilingual staff, it will range from different kinds of tasks. Like, for example, you can be assigned to do translation of documents. So that would be a more specialized aspect of your skill because translation means you have to deal with the specific industry that you're working with. So, for example, in my case, I work with the hospitality industry. So my terms and or my terminologies would be more reflective of that in the travel and hospitality industry. Of course, if you're like a doctor and then you would have to translate medical terms, then that's a different aspect as well.
I see.
Another, of course, is especially for the BPO industry, is your conversational skill. You would have to, let's say, accept telephone calls from, let's say, a Chinese guest, and then if they have like concerns or complaints, then you have to deal with it and display your customer service skills as well as your Mandarin combination.
So far, what's the part that you find most challenging?
Everything.
Everything.
uh, Everything, because I also do the translation part, and translation is a very meticulous and detailed kind of work. You just also, if you're familiar with traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese, you would have to be so detailed that one character means a different meaning for another word.
I see.
So that's basically how translation works. So if you're not, if you're confident with your translation project,
Yes.
you still have to ask somebody to proofread your work.
I see.
So it's more quality control and accuracy.
Yes.
So that's also challenging.
I see. But I guess,
Another part,
yeah.
yeah,
Please,
sorry.
please move. Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Another part of the challenging is the communication side. So, for example, if you're engaged in a call with a Chinese client, what if she cannot understand your Mandarin because of the intonation or the
Okay.
accent?
Yes.
Perhaps she's coming from Beijing, and their accent is different from ours. So you also have to adjust.
Okay.
And my tip would be to listen what the accent in China is really all about, and perhaps you can adjust and deal with your customers with more professional way.
Right. But I guess like any other job, it gets a little better as time goes by, like
Yeah.
gain more experience, right?
With practice. Yes, with practice.
Yes. Because some people might be hesitant to think of taking up Mandarin because they might say that it takes quite some time to study the language. So they might say that this might just be a fad. Then maybe by the time they finish studying Mandarin, there won't be any opportunities in the future. So could you discuss as to what's the market trend in the travel and hospitality industry right now? Is it for the long term, and is it wise to invest in studying Mandarin?
It definitely is in the long term, because right now, if you notice, in the Philippines, there's a new campaign that invites more tourists to visit the Philippines.
Yes.
And that means more tourists, more money, good for our economy.
That's right.
And who are the most number of people trying out tourism? And that is the Chinese.
Yes.
So if you go to, let's say, Boracay, you would see lots of Chinese there. You go to the casinos, they play there.
Yes. Right.
So there are a lot. And then if we want to have more people to give us more revenues, that means our skill as a bilingual would be more beneficial. And I think that if you learn Mandarin, let's say if you're a refresher for Mandarin, it's a good start, because the trend will be continuous and it will not go away, because people would just want to go travel, and traveling right now can range from an economical budget to luxurious. So anytime they will just visit. Of course, if our campaign, and if especially Filipinos are good for hospitality and friendliness.
And I think one of the things that I personally am curious about is how does the interview process go? Like for if you want to apply for a Mandarin job, I'm, I'm not sure what tests I'm gonna get. How are they gonna rate my skills? Could you share something of your experience about how they tested your Mandarin skills?
Okay. I had this case that my test would be coming from Berlitz. So I guess it's an international language institute focusing on the proficiency language of an individual. So in that case, someone from Berlitz called me up and asked me to introduce myself in Mandarin.
Okay.
So based from the conversation, she was able to measure the skill. So another part would be the written. She asked me of a scenario, and then I have to write a business letter in Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
And the last part of the quiz was about the comprehension, where she asked me to read a text, and from the text, she was asking me questions on whether I would understand the complexity of the story.
Uh-huh.
So that's what she was rating me back then.
So when
But on other
mm,
cases, I guess for other cases, basically the interviewer would just ask you questions in Mandarin and perhaps just give you a short quiz on, or probably test your writing skills in typing in the computer.
I see.
So that's also going to benefit you.
I see. Did you take special preparation to for the exams, or did you just come with your stock knowledge?
Um, stock knowledge
Stock
because
knowledge.
I wanted to have an electronic translator or an electronic dictionary,
Okay.
but I don't have that. And
Okay.
my cell phone back then was not Wi-Fi compatible,
I see.
so I can't search.
Okay.
So
Good.
it's more stock knowledge. Never comes in, and I just say it.
Okay. That's good.